Namaste all. I'm covering a memoir. Basically, it is about memoir is author writes about his or her own stuff. This book is Chasing the Bright Side by Jesse Ekstrom. So she wrote very well. I really like the style of writing and very easy reading. And she tells about her story and how to embrace optimism, activate your purpose, and write your own story. There are multiple things she touched in the book, like optimism, learned optimism. A lot of books are there on optimism, and then purpose. There are find your own north star. A lot of books are there on the purpose also, and write your own story. That is, I think we touched a couple of times about writing our own story instead of somebody writing our story. So she touches that also. The whole book consists of only 14 chapters. Each chapter she puts a title and then she talks about her own experiences and how we can build from there. And in the introduction itself, she says, before you dive in, these are the important things to know about my beliefs, her beliefs. She says, French fries don't have calories if they are on someone else's plate. Thrift shopping counts as exercise. If you bring your umbrella, it won't rain. Coffee goes toward your daily water intake. Menus with pictures help me make more informed ordering decisions. My dog completely understands when I speak to him in full sentences. Yellow traffic lights mean you floor it. Airports are rated by their food courts and seat to outlet ratio. Picking up your takeover order on Friday night still qualifies as going out. This is going out. A lot of people don't go out. I didn't know that part. I always go every day, but she says only going out to pick up something is going out. I was talking with one of my friend and he said, looking at his watch, he says, for last 21 days I was at home. I said, wow, 21 days. So, so this is how she introduced herself, saying, this is what I have. I am. And then she talks about optimism and takes you from there, and she says optimism is very important. She talks about Mayo Clinic research. She talks about Harvard's Men's Health Watch says optimism helps people to cope with their disease and recover from surgery. So optimism is a very big subject. It is required for all of us. We need to be optimistic for the future. Otherwise, we don't get up in the morning. We will be sleeping throughout the day. However, she talks about doing something is better than not doing it and sitting at one place or sitting in the dark. So, like that, she talks about it. And let me see. Yeah. So basically, I forgot that she is the founder of Headbands of Hope. So she started a company which she covers in the 14 chapters, which is called Headbands of Hope, which is to donate headbands to the kids with cancer. So if you buy one headband, she will donate the one headband to the kids. So that's where she starts, and she starts her journey and takes from there. And she also covers optimism is a strategy, not an emotion. The why is important. There is a book about find your why. So she also mentions that optimism provides the stamina needed to endure the messy middle of any project or life. So the power of purpose, she talks about that also. Solving problems, success often comes from looking at the gap in the world and deciding you are the one to fill it. So she talks in one of the chapters, she mentions that find your niche and go fill it boldly. Don't think about anything. And also she talks about service oriented mindset, which is mm, uh, kindness, random acts of kindness. So you do anything, it's okay. Be service oriented. That's what she says. And she says failures are including redefine your failures. Ekstrom shares all her own failures and tells us that, hey, Don't think that a successful person doesn't have any failures in their life. They will go through failures and then they come up, and we see only the success and says, oh, they made it. No, they went through all of them, lot of them before, which we need to dig into it. Otherwise we see only the cream where they are like top of their business or top of their career and other stuff. Failure is often just a signal to change direction, not signal to stop, which is very good one. Failure is often just a signal to change direction, not a signal to stop. And always be a beginner mind. She talks about that beginner mind. You don't need to be an expert to start. You just need to be willing to learn in the life. So guarding your bright side, this is where she says, distinguish between the constructive feedback and noise from the people who are afraid to change. Select your focus. You can acknowledge the bad while choosing to focus your energy on the solutions. So she talks about meaning of the bright and purpose to perfection. The meaning of bright is it's not just sunshine, as I mentioned it before. It is the clarity you get when you stop looking for the problem, start looking for the light. So always look at the light, not the shadow. Doing something meaningful imperfectly is better than doing nothing perfectly. So move from purpose to start going towards the uh, doing stuff. Borrowing belief. On days of when you do not believe in yourself, lean on the people or the mission that does. This is the biggest one. Like when we are down, figure out what needs to be done, or read some books, or talk with people who are already in that field. Then you will borrow their enthusiasm or their guidance and then move forward. So, borrowing a belief. So, that's how she says. And then let me share the presentation. Sharing the bright side, embrace the optimism, activate your purpose, and write your own story. So this book, as I mentioned, has 14 chapters. Each chapter she titles differently, and she gave me the. I don't need to summarize the book. She put 14 chapters, one sentence in the front, and then she talks about those things. So the first thing is maybe she's born with it. That's what it is. Oh, he's born with it. He's born with silver spoon. That's why he was succeeded. All that stuff. So she says everything wonderful that has been created or achieved had to start with someone who believed it could be better. Same thing like if Wright brothers didn't think that we can fly, we may not have flying today. I always remember my own brother in 90s. I came to US in 89 and I went back in 92 for something with my father. And my brother is not studied. He dropped out of the third grade and he was doing all kind of odd jobs at home. I don't know. I mentioned before there used to be VCRs, video cassette recorders. Maybe some of you may not have seen it. In that one, the remote will be there, and in the remote you can use only play, forward, backward, all that stuff, or volume, other things. But to remove the cassette and put a new cassette, one has to walk towards that one and press eject and wait for the cassette to come out and they remove the cassette and put new one. He was asking me, this I remember, he was asking me, why don't they put the eject button on the remote itself so that when we click eject here, by the time we walk there, cassette will be outside. I said, yeah, you asked too much. You are too lazy. That's what I thought. But bingo, after a couple of years, it's there on the remote. You press eject, the cassette will be out. Like a CD will be coming out before you go walk to the CD player. But nowadays, all of them are gone. Everything is media. But think about that. Everything wonderful that has been created or achieved had to start with someone who believed it could be better. Here she talks about how she was in her childhood. She used to be a player. So she used to play with the boys basketball. So all the girls used to come to her to tell about their crush on the boys. Oh, what is that boy is thinking? Is she thinking about me? All these things. She becomes like a mediator between them. But she is not neither a boy nor a girl. Girls come to her only for that information. Like, is he going to ask me for dance? He can ask. You can tell him that he can ask me for dance. Like these correspondences. So she was feeling bad. She wants to be recognized, and she sees Chicken Soup for Soul that time. And there they were asking to write a story. She sits down and starts writing, and finally she writes a story. And her mom sends the story to Chicken Soup for the Soul, and it gets published. Oh, she was thinking of Chicken Soup for the Soul because all her friends were reading that book and discussing the stories. So she thought, if I am author in that, all other girls will recognize her as a peer with them. That's what she was thinking. So finally, her story gets published, and she runs to school, and oh, mom gets her she got $100 or something. So in those days, mom and she goes and gets a special dress and all that stuff she wears, and she goes to school and announces to her friends, and they says, "Oh, we moved on to that from chicken soup for the soul. It doesn't matter right now." So she doesn't get it. So she says, it doesn't matter whether the other people think about you or other people will prize you. Your worth is same. That's what she says. And then she moves to the second chapter where anything can happen. We can control our experiences, but we can always write our stories. This is, I think, I touched before also. We can write our own story because in the childhood people might have written our story saying that oh, this guy doesn't have no mathematics, this guy is fails always in science, this guy always tell lies. These are the stories people are writing into the minds of the people. These are all the things we hear in the childhood, different things. It depends upon how you grow up and what you did in the childhood and how your adults were there, parents or brothers, our friends, teachers, all of them write to you. As mentioned in the four agreements, domestication of a child. Like if you do this, you are a good person. If you do this, you are a good boy or a good girl. So those things like a domestication happens. Those are the stories in our mind. Even though those adults are not in our house or with me, I still run by those stories. But she says, here you can control you can control experience. Those experiences are gone, but the story for the future, I need to write my own story. Here she tells about this girl is related to Bernie Madoff, the one who made a big money coup or money scandal in 2008. She is related to him. She says like uncle for him for her. She doesn't know anything about it. Mom and dad says don't watch the television, go to school. So she goes to school, comes back and watches school, and she sees her uncle's picture and all over the TV. This is in 2008 time frame. So all her relatives, everybody says that Barney Madoff's relatives made money and they are enjoying it. But she tells the real story where everybody lost the money because they gave it to their own relative. And she talks about her own grandparents who are in 70s, lost everything, and they started running the airport taxi service. So the old, both of them, in 8 years, around 8 years, they had 25,000 trips, 1.3 million miles they drove. So anything can happen. However, don't sit with that. Move forward. That's what she is talking about here. And Robin Williams quote, I really like this quote. She added a quote also every chapter. You will have bad times, but they will always wake you up to the stuff you were not paying attention to. That's what Robin Williams said. I tell people that if you believe in God or universe, it doesn't matter. Few things we need to do it. If we don't do it, we keep on postponing. Something big happens, and you will be forced to do that later on. So that's what I believe. So here he's same thing saying telling same thing that when bad things happen, that will wake you up what you are not paying attention. So here she says chapter heading is yes, and let the wonder be bigger than the limits. here she talks about improv. I don't know how many of you know about improv. In improv, there are three options you have, and they recommend first option all the time, which are first one is and yes and they go with yes and this is the first prompt. The second one is no. The third one is yes but. So we are very afraid to say no. So we will say, if somebody asks, "Can you come to Dallas?" I'll say yes, but I'm going to my daughter's place. So I have to give a positive picture, but I add but and then take me out of that action. Yes, but everything we put that one. Here she tells about a story when she was very like 10th grade or 11th grade or 12th grade. Everybody was she saw she doesn't want to spend 1 month break at home or something, and she sees an ad for Disney interns. She applies for it. No, none of her friends applied, so she might have taken walked out of that without doing it by saying yes but I don't have any friends, yes but nobody is going, yes but a lot of things she can find reasons. That's why mind is very good. If you want the mind to give you reasons to do something, it will gives you. Like, I want to eat a gulab jamun. I will say, oh, I haven't eaten for 1 month, so I can eat one gulab jamun. If I don't need to eat gulab jamun, I will have the other side also. I can tell 100 reasons why I should not eat. So mind is so good. So she goes there, and all the kids came in a group. So everybody is talking with each other and big group. She's all alone there, and then she says she learned her lessons by working there. Uh, um, I think she works in a photo booth, and she learned some skills. So that's how she learns there, and she says everything go for yes and. Oh, from an improv perspective, it is like comedy or anything like that, where they have to, let's say if somebody says, oh, the trees are red, we cannot say no, they are not red or something like that. You have to say yes, they are red, bright red, and I never saw those. So you have to add story to the previous person sentence. That is improv. So in life also we need to do that. Yes and what can we go further, take the conversation further, or think further. That's what she says, yes and a Disney internship. And then she participate. Next she goes to, if it is not there, create it. Hard times are either the excuses to do less or the reason to do more. So there are two different, like, we hard time comes, we can find an excuse to do less or reason to do more. So here she tells about a story about she comes back from the Disney, and then she finds Make a Wish Foundation, and she applies for internship, and they comes back saying that, nah, we don't have anything, we are still not much going on, we don't have internships, sorry. But she keeps on sending emails saying that I can come and do anything. This facility is local to her. She's from North Carolina. So finally they said, you want to do anything? Okay, come over. So she goes and starts working there. She will do the mailing, and she do the letters correction, all kind of odd job she was doing there. And finally she comes to know about one girl. That's when she starts thinking about headbands. Basically, the young girl was there, and she no, they were thinking of taking her to Disney. Make a Wish Foundation is, I think majority of you know Make a Wish Foundation, where kids terminally ill, their last wish, this foundation will fulfill it. Like my friend's son had a bone cancer. The Make a Wish Foundation came and gave a puppy for him because he wanted a puppy to have. So like that, this girl wanted to go to Disney and have spend a day with uh, sleeping with the beauty, the princess. She wants to sleep with beauty and other stuff. And Jess says, okay, I will take her to Disney if you allow me. So Make a Wish Foundation says, okay, you can do that along with their parents. You can go. So everything was arranged, and they were thinking about going. And finally, doctor says, no, she's not in a position to travel. Sorry, you have to cancel plans. So the little girl feels very bad, and Jess also feels bad. So she said, "What can I do to this girl?" So she borrows a princess dress for herself, and she gets a princess dress for the small kid also. She goes to the her home and puts on the give the dress to her, and she also wears the princess dress, and she spends the whole day with that girl and reads books and everything. And the girl was so happy because she was able to spend time with the princess, and she was able to sleep with the beauty, sleeping beauty and all that stuff. And she comes back, and then she cries at home because she cannot cry at the girl's place, because girl is going to pass away or something like that. So she comes home and cries, and after a couple of weeks, her mom calls and says, "You did a great job, Jess. My daughter was so cherished that night, and you made her day, and she was so happy to spend time." So that's when she feels that, oh man, these kids who are going through chemotherapy, they lose the hair, and let's make a hair bands. So the headbands. If you if somebody is losing hair, if they wear a colorful headband, they don't feel that they are bald. They feel proud, and start doing something else. That's when that idea comes to her, that let's do the headbands. And that's when the wheel started turning. So she talks about baby steps, starts baby steps. Just because you hear crickets doesn't mean no one is listening. That's what she puts it. Beautiful. Just because you hear crickets doesn't mean no one is listening. So here she talks about baby steps is yeah, headbands, and she tried to call different companies who make it, and she was thinking about how to contact, how to make it. She calls multiple companies, and nobody bothers. And finally, one company she calls, and the operator picks up, and she say, when this girl requests that I want to talk with the person who is in charge, and she tells about all her story that she wants to give headbands to the children who have cancer. They didn't bother, but she keeps leaving message on the number forwarded to one person. The operator forwards it to somebody in the company, and she keeps on calling, calling, calling. After 15 days, somebody calls and says, "Hey, how many headbands do you need?" Then she gets flabbergasted. She never thought the answer for it. She was thinking, good question. She doesn't know. She blurts out, say maybe 1,000. So the guy said, "Yeah, sure, that's it." And she hangs up, and they get the address, and she gets the 1,000 headbands, and she takes them to the hospital and start distributing. That is her first donation style she started. So that's why she says baby steps. She made it to work. Did not let your plans kill your possibilities. So a lot of times our plans will kill the possibilities. She, in the beginning itself, she was not sure how to manufacture. So she calls different people, she advertises and everything. She does Facebook advertisements or something like that. She does that. And one lady calls from some place and says, "Yeah, I can do headbands for you. Uh, um, but initially I need a huge deposit so that I can buy the remaining all the equipment and everything. You need to send me $10,000." This girl is still in the college, not even graduated, and she doesn't know $10,000 how. And her dad, even though they were broke because of the Madoff issue, this is after 4 5 years later, her dad says, "I will let you borrow 10,000 from me." So she was happy. She sends the money, and finally she comes to know that that lady deceived her. She is gone, disappeared. So she feels so bad about that. So that is the first failure for her. From there, she recovers and starts doing again, and then she goes further, and she makes it as a school project. And business school, she goes and talks with the business people. She asks everybody, ask, which we covered last week about Aladdin factor. Same thing, she ask. She doesn't get dejected if somebody says, "Bah, you can't do it." All kind of negative things come. She doesn't bother. She just moves forward. And throw a fail, Mary. This is where she loses that $10,000 dollars. Failure will always feel better than regret. Regret is again, we talked about regret in the previous class book, um, Power of Regret or something. Daniel Pink. Yeah. So here she puts a quote, and I knew exactly what to do, but in a much more real sense, I had no idea what to do. This is how she was. She thought she has exactly what to do, but she doesn't know what to do. So here she talks about starting a website, and then in the website she wants a people to wear the headbands. She doesn't know how to get the photographers. She goes to school and borrows the camera. So she doesn't have a camera also by that time. And she borrows from the school thing, and which she has, there's a long waiting list, and she finds the time. She gets the camera. Now she needs subjects to wear the headband so that she can take a picture and post it on the website. For that, she was thinking, put a notice in the notice board saying that come over and other thing. And she thought, maybe let me ask. There was a Subway, not Subway sandwich, the other Subway shop. I forgot the name. And she goes in and asks, "Hey, I am organizing this event here. People will come. Can you give some subs so that they can eat?" She just asks for that. And the guy says, "Yeah, how many you need?" And she gets 30 or 40 sandwiches, keeps it with her, and people come, pose, and she is immature, taking pictures of them and gives them a sandwich to eat and then go. So that's how she got the pictures to put it on the website. So she starts from there. Uh, Even though she lost 10,000, she starts off slowly again and starts the website and trying to reach out people and everything like that happens. Then you are tall enough. This one, here she says sometimes the main difference between the people who make it and the ones who doesn't, just the courage to begin where you are. So everybody gets the opportunity. Some, if the person doesn't have courage, they may dejected and they stop there itself, but the person who have courage will move on. So here she talks about her theme park experience. Everything she relates to a story from her life. Here she talks about going to a most of us experience going to the theme parks where they'll put height restrictions, like everybody needs to be like a 3 feet or 4 feet for this ride and other stuff. So that the experience she had, and she goes into one of the ride which is a full upside down ride. So that experience she mentions, and then go further from there. One time she gets an opportunity to go to Florida for a speaking engagement. She start even speaking to people and mentioning about it. So in Florida, she goes to speaking event where some all the speakers were in one limo or one car, and they were going, and she wears her headband and going, and she looks like a kid there out of all the people. And one guy tried to mock her, saying that, "Hey, we didn't get headbands," and as if something she is doing wrong. So she was thinking, man, maybe I should call in sick and go back to the room or something. She was thinking all the negative things and thinking of going away. But as soon as she gets down, she gets a call from her agent or marketing agent or some who is working with her. She calls and, "Hey, just now the today's show, which is a TV show, confirmed that they are going to do an interview for you with you." So that gives a lot of courage. She says yes, and then she goes and talks in front of all the people about the mission and other things. So that's how she relates this. You are tall enough. Then finding the white space. Here she talks about someone else's success does not make yours any less. Wow, I'm already late. Someone else's failure does not make you any better. The only metric that matters is your own individuality. I will move forward here. Here she says you don't need to be like 100% different or 180 degrees different. You can have just a 10-degree difference from what is existing, and still you can make a better product or better path. You can lead a better path. That's what she covers in this one. The world's fundraiser ever. Good doesn't have to be recognized in order for it to work or be worth it. It can be just be good. Here she organizes. A lot of people think everything, whenever you do service, it needs to be with the money and other things. But here she organizes with other organization help, prom in the hospital, so that all the kids can go to fulfill their prom desire and in the hospital itself, and there is no money involved, and her husband makes 100 crowns, flower crowns for the kids in the hospital. All those things she talks about here. And also she talks about karma. So somebody was trying to shoot a armadillo, and the bullet bounced back and hit his own leg. So karma is similarly, it fires back. That's why she called it as karmadillo. So you do anything which you can do. Pick a small activity or any random acts of kindness. That is what, if you search for it, you will find a lot of activities which you can do without money. The things we tell ourselves, this is another good topic where in our mind there will be a lot of chatter. The voices, she says, in our heads control the way we walk through the life. Then we need to train them to say yes to the life we want and not to the life we don't want. Basically, there is a book about it, what to talk to yourself, or something like that. Cha Hamster or something, his name is there, and he wrote a beautiful book, How to Talk Yourself. A lot of times it is negative, so she wants you to get out of it, and she talks that how to get out of internal dialogue. Understand that you have power to control your thoughts. Personify your voice. This is a beautiful technique. Personify your voice. So if I read this one in another book also, what they says is to tell myself I will be little bit face discomfort or fear, all that stuff. But if we can tell other people easily, oh, you can do it, you can run half marathon, all that stuff. So what she says is make it third person, like Nagraj, you can do it, you can do this presentation, Nagraj. So I can tell easily. So put a character in your mind and call that name where it's your name or some other favorite name you can call, and tell that guy to do the stuff. Even the failure happens, only that guy failed, not you failed. That way you are disassociate from yourself from success or failure, so that you can think in a balanced way. That's what she talks about it. And she talks about how did she ran a mile in the young age. Girls on the Run, that is the organization. First, she runs a 1 mile, and she thinks if I can run 1 mile, I can run more. So the coach says you run 5K, 10K, half marathon, full marathon, and she ran with her sister, and both of them ran 100 miles. This is second time coming, second book for me where they are talking about running 100 miles and how what goes on, which is a long topic. I'll skip there. One thing is her sister runs 100 miles after a long time, and she asks Jess to be the pacer for her. Pacer means in the lawn. She thought only at the end she can encourage and take hand with her and run through the finish line. So that's what she just thinks, and she says, "Okay, yes, I can do it." But later she comes to know that last 20 miles she has to run with the person who is running 100 miles, and they tell stories about 100 miles where whoever runs at the end they will be in a complete mess state. The person who is a pacer needs to keep their motivation, keep them sane, keep them eat something, drink water, and run. All the things they have to do is in the last 20 miles. So she goes through that and makes her sister complete it. So here, that's where she covers that story, the things we tell ourselves. The struggle is worth it. Our tougher experience tend to strip us from all the things that don't really matter and adjust our focus on what does. So that's another one. Alignment over attention. Here, fulfillment is not a destruction we reach through achievements. It's a choice on how we live our lives right now. Um, Whenever we do something, she asks you to look for alignment instead of attention. Sometimes when success coming to us, we long for attention, and we move away from the alignment, which is the main purpose. Here one time somebody calls her saying that, hey, we are looking for people to put on the magazine cover, are you interested? She gets excited and she says yes, and the six ladies come there, all six of them go through photo shoot and everything, and then they conduct a 1 month poll, and all her relatives and everyone vote for her and calls and sends everywhere, and finally she gets selected. After a couple of months, the magazine calls and says, oh, we lost the funding, so that is not going to happen. So that's when she realizes that I missed my alignment and I'm looking for attention, like I want to be here, I want to be there. So that's where she learns this lesson. And activate your purpose. This is the final one, where we can see our future in two ways: a scary mess of uncontrollable experiences, or plentiful opportunities to write our own stories. So find your purpose and move with it. That's what she says. What is my purpose? Unravel your past. By unraveling your past, you can find something to move forward. That's what she says. Anchor your purpose and activate your purpose. That's the one. And here is Jess Ekstrom's introduction. She's the founder and CEO of Headbands of Hope, a company she started in a junior college in 2012. That's when she started. And she now shipped the headbands to every children around the United States and 22 countries. So she's a professional speaker. You can find her TED Talk also on the YouTube. That's it for this book. Thank you. Sorry, I took 10 minutes more.